Some years your house is loud and full and chaotic, kids running around, someone asking awkward questions. And some years it's just you and the quiet. I've had both, and both can be wonderful. But somewhere along the way we were sold the idea that quiet equals lonely. It's probably because somebody decided that quiet equals not as much money in their pocket. Somewhere during the Hallmark movies and the car commercials with the big bow and the matching pajamas everywhere, we were made to believe that a quieter holiday wasn't going to be happy, and happiness equaled loud and chaos, and definitely equaled romance and love. And there's nothing wrong with any of those things, but sometimes my holiday is a lot quieter. And maybe yours is too. This is simply a mindset shift. I had several ideas for a holiday video, and one of them may have been the night before menopause. It was really funny, but maybe another time, because what I had on my mind was that I cannot be the only person that enjoys the quiet and the solitude of home alone for the holidays, and yet also then flips into sadness about that same thing. I'm much more of an introvert, and I live an extroverted life with my job. So when it's a school vacation and I have a holiday time, I love it and have made many fun traditions. And I wanted to share those with you in case it helps your mindset shift. Earlier I said I've had both chaotic and quiet holidays, and both were wonderful. But I also could have said I've had chaotic and quiet holidays and I wished for the other. Both can be true. It is all wonderful and it is all a lot, and you can enjoy each. Part of midlife freedom is choosing what you want to do and unsubscribing from what society and Hallmark tells you to do. I don't have a thing against Hallmark movies. I like to watch them, but sometimes they can get in your head and make you feel like you're doing the wrong things. I've really tuned into what I want to do and made the traditions that made me happy. And I'd like to share some of those with you for inspiration in case you need them in your quiet holiday. Thanks to the pandemic, I now know the power of Zoom. So I Zoom with my mom, who is waking up alone 2,000 miles away, and we get our coffees and our ridiculous breakfast, which I'll mention in a minute, and we open a present from each other. And occasionally, in case this works for you, we have done I'm going to spend $50 on myself, whatever amount, on myself, something I wouldn't buy myself. You do the same, and we open up the present we got each other, even though we have no idea what we got that person. And we also do the traditional mailing each other presents. So either way, we're opening a present, we're having our coffee, our ridiculous breakfast over Zoom. That's kind of nice. Do you have anybody that's waking up without anybody and they'd like to chit chat and share some time over the holiday morning? This is a fun way to do that. Okay, so I do that, but when I mention ridiculous breakfast, we have learned by now through my videos that I have a fetish about breakfast apparently. And so the holidays is a time when I make a ridiculous breakfast. That means to me, a little too many calories, often involving sausage, sometimes involving biscuits and gravy. But anyway, this year I think it's going to be like a breakfast casserole, eggs, sausage, whatever. But anyway, so I'd cut a piece of that, warm it up, have that with my mom and my coffee. So that's one idea. 1 year after a breakup, I don't know if I actually recommend this because it got a little scary, but I was thinking, what positive thing can I do for people who are feeling the way I'm feeling? I'm going to put something on people's porches for Christmas morning. They can wake up and see this little surprise on their porch. In retrospect, living in Los Angeles, maybe I shouldn't have been out without a getaway driver the night before. I would have been easy pickings for a carjacking, but everything was fine. I snuck a little present on people's porches. It's still anonymous. If they're seeing this, they may now know it was me. And they may have felt like they had a stalker. I hope that wasn't the case. My intention was to give a little surprise for that morning. I hope it went well. I lived. It was fun for me to do, and it also got me out of my head. You're not the only person that has ever had a breakup, and Mr. Wrong is no longer in your life. And woo. That is never in doubt. That was the best decision. However, it's not always fun or easy or timely. One thing I did that was fun and safe was I made a playlist for my family, like hearkening back to my 80s days. I made a playlist by asking them a month ahead of time, please send me 2 songs that make you happy. And I put them together, and I burnt them on a CD. I know, I'm 100,000 years old. If I had it to do again, obviously I could do something a little more modern technology. However, I did send that to them. Nobody knew whose song was whose. My favorite thing from the day was then calling them and hearing the stories about them listening to each other's songs and trying to guess whose was whose. And my 96-year-old grandma being introduced to Drake's Hotline Bling. Yeah, I think she liked it. When I travel, I like to collect things, and one of the things I like to collect, it's easier to take in my suitcase, is what traditions they have for New Year's Eve. I love New Year's. I love a new start, a new beginning, and I love to hear how people celebrate that and ring it in. So many years ago, my aunt in Santiago, Chile, I was there, and by the way, if you don't realize, it's summer there. So I was laying in a pool on Christmas Eve. It was awesome. Anyway, she taught me the tradition of anything you want to grow in the new year, you need to have it on your person at midnight. So for instance, she was very into travel. So she put her passport in her pocket, and we put money, and I think we had fake Monopoly money too. We were putting money in our pockets. And their tradition in their family, I do not know if it is cultural or if it's just specific to her family, but we had to run around the house. And in her case, it was kind of a locked house, so we had to go like around the cul-de-sac of the neighborhood, and she made me carry suitcases. So we were wheeling suitcases and anything we could think of that we wanted more of in the new year. Friends, pictures of friends and family, and I think I had a stethoscope to represent health. But we ran around the neighborhood through the strokes of midnight. Woo, Happy New Year! And we looked loony, but we had a great time. And another thing that I have done that is just a fun tradition is the bad things that have happened in the year, write them down on a piece of paper. The good things you're hoping for in the new year, write those down on a piece of paper. And do this all safely, outside perhaps. We then took a little match to the old bad, planted the new good in soil, dig, 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 put down the new good, and put the ashes of the old, and then poured water on it and packed it down so nobody would get into it. And it's sort of symbolizing growing the new wonderful year with the ash of the old year. I just think it's a fun tradition. If it's a little too pagan, that might not be your thing. To me, that doesn't mean anything to do with that, but it's just a good symbol of out with the old, in with the new. And I love that kind of thing. And speaking of New Year's, and I love New Year's, and I love to plan for the new year. I don't want late night party, so this is what I tend to do. If I have people over, they're in pajamas, and yes, people drove here in their pajamas, and we watched the ball drop in New York and Los Angeles. You can do that, so it's 9 o'clock. Woo-hoo! We'd eaten everything, we had a good time, and people went home, and they were in bed by midnight. I was home, cleaned up my house, had it perfect, and ready for the next morning. And I went to bed. You know, you wake up hearing the fireworks and all the celebration elsewhere in the city, and fall asleep and wake up early to watch the Rose Parade. And it's a little overproduced for me these days. That's a shame, but I want to watch it. I've got my planner for the new year and stickers and markers. So for me, one of the biggest traditions over the holiday is to plan for the new year and set intentions and reflect and make comments in my diary about the old year leaving and the new year coming. And I feel like it's such a good, positive, helpful, and restorative time. I have just shared some of my traditions with you. I would love to hear your meaningful and fun traditions that you have or you intend to start. It would be really helpful for me, and I think everybody in the comments would love to hear. As I've said, I've spent a lot of the holidays alone, but I am rarely lonely. If your holiday's looking quieter this year, lean in. You know, that's my favorite phrase. If you can't get out of it, get into it. Whatever form that takes, whatever way you choose to spend the holidays, I wish you all the happiness, and I want you to enjoy the heck out of it. Don't let marketers take away your joy. You get to intentionally set the traditions that you keep, the way you spend your time, and whatever version of the holiday you choose to create. Together, we're building a life we love, Until next time, I'm GenX Missy, reminding you that if you start now, we can retire happy.